humans, it's still Hannah, and I'm coming at you with the end of the year book tag. I love this book tag, so let's get into it. Are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? And embarrassingly, yes, quite a few. So the one that I'm currently on is Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett. I don't know why I keep saying Robert Bennett Jackson in my head, but anyway, still need to finish this. I am quite a way into it, so like this is all I have left. I'm hoping to finish it by tomorrow max, because I'm realistic. I'd love to finish it today, but I doubt it. And then, this is so embarrassing. This is a book that I started last year, as in maybe November or October of last year. So a year ago, if not more. And it's The Beautiful Fall, and it's by Alicia Drake. And it is a biography of about Yves Saint Laurent and his life, fashion drama in Paris, and the little blurb says fashion genius and glorious excess in 1970s Paris, and it is such a vibe. I unfortunately am not even halfway through, so like this is how much I read, and it's pretty chunky. It looks deceptively small, but it's over 400 pages, and look at how tiny the text is. Tiny. So it's taking quite a bit to get through. And especially since, if you could tell, I've been tabbing the crap out of this book. Like, so many references that I keep wanting to go back to, and things that I want to research, and like collections that I want to look up and look at and take notes on. So it was quite, you know, it's quite a laborious read, because there's just so much in there that I want to genuinely absorb. But because it was taking so long and so much effort, I just kind of put it down, and I kept forgetting to pick it back up. But I really hope to finish this before the year ends, because I don't like the idea of having to have been on a book for 2 years. That's just ridiculous. And then The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion. This is Joan Didion's memoir following the year that her husband passed away, and I have yet to encounter the part of magical thinking. It was so far so depressing, and it was really bringing me down, so I put it down. I actually am nearly halfway through, so I'm on page 96, and it's just over 200 pages. So I hope to pick this up soon. Like, I do want to finish it before the year ends, and it's not a DNF or anything. It was just really bumming me out, so I put it down. And then we have The Road Not Taken, Another Poems by Robert Frost. And you know what, actually, I don't know if I'll finish this before the year ends, because it's poetry, and I just like, I'm here, and I would pick up a poem, think about it for a bit, put the book down, and the conclusion element, the concluding element of a poem, like it ends, it finishes, so there's like a conclusion, and you just feel like, oh, I just finished something. So I kind of close it and I put it back down. And again, it's poetry. It's not meant to be consumed super quickly, I personally don't believe. So I don't know, maybe I'll finish it before the year ends, maybe not, but I'm cool if I don't. And then this one is also quite ridiculous. It's The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe, and there's actually 2 more short stories in here. And I am like a third of the way into it, maybe a little more. And this is less than 50 pages. Like, it's ridiculous that I still haven't finished it. It's just that it just wasn't what I was feeling, but I do want to finish this. I just wanted something a bit more fun, and this is just, you know, it's Edgar Allan Poe. So these are all the books that I hope to finish by the end of the year, except wouldn't be too bothered if I don't finish this one. And then, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? This tag is technically meant to be done in fall, so like by the end of the year tag, it's like the last quarter of the year, and that's why this question is there. I was so confused by it before, and then I figured out that's why. However, all the books that I want to finish are actually, not all of them, but quite a few of them are quite fall-esque. This is literally called The Beautiful Fall. Very autumnal themed. However, other than that, I do have quite a few books that I want to get to that I haven't gotten to this fall, just because I've not been feeling fall this year. It's probably because right now I'm in a pretty warm climate, but because I'm a very seasonal reader, I'm affected by the weather and all of that, I just didn't feel like picking up the very autumnal reads that I had. And those include The Ghost Bride by Yang-C Chu, although I'm considering leaving this for a little bit of a spooky spring read, I don't know. And then The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Obviously, dark academia, fall-esque. I feel like Dark Academia suits fall and winter. And then we have The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter, and this is going to be my first Angela Carter book, and I specifically wanted to read it in the fall, but I suppose like winter is good too. Like it's like fairy tales, so I feel like winter and fairy tales go together. And then the book that I left on my TBR shelf to read specifically in October, and like I said, I just wasn't feeling it, I didn't get to it, is Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I hate that I didn't get to this in October, but it's fine. Again, spooky stuff can hold in the winter as well. Third question is there a new release you're waiting for? And surprisingly not. I really thought about this, and I went through my Goodreads shelves, and I don't think there are any that I'm waiting to come out this year. Again, I suppose had I filmed this a little earlier, then maybe, but no, actually, even then, surprisingly not. Maybe next year there definitely are, but not this year. And then what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? And I feel like the autumnal books that I mentioned could fit this prompt. However, I'll mention 2 more, and the first one is my next read, finally. It's The Sandman by Neil Gaiman. This is the deluxe edition, book 1, and this is illustrated by Sam Keith, Mike Drinchberg, Malcolm Jones III, Chris Bachalo, Michael Zulli, Steve Parkhouse, Teddy Christiansen. It's with a K, so it threw me off. I'm not sure. This is my next read, and I'm really nervous about that. I don't know why. I think it's because I've been putting it off for so long that I'm kind of nervous now about picking it up. But I really also want to watch the show, and I refuse to watch the show before I'm done with the series, before I actually read the series. And then the next book that I really want to read before the year ends is Senlin Ascends by Josiah Bancroft. This is book 1 in this fantasy series, and I think there are 4 books. I think it's a quartet, if I recall correctly. And we basically follow Senlin, who goes on a honeymoon with his wife, and he immediately loses her, and he kind of goes on this mad quest to try to find her in the tower, and there's like, I think, politics involved, and I heard so many good things about this. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? And that is, to me personally, if I get to this year, and I hope I do, but I don't know, it's The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, and this is book 1 in the Cemetery of Forgotten Books. Pigeon just flew past and really distracted me, but this is, I don't think it's fantasy. I don't remember. For some reason I thought it was, but then I thought it wasn't, and I'm not sure. But I know that it's a book about books, and I know that there's this one book that is getting a lot of interest, and that it holds a lot of secrets and mysteries about its author, and there's like a whole chase to keep it safe for people trying to steal it or destroy it, something like that. And so many people love this series. This is such a popular series, and I feel like this might become a new favorite purely because of, I mean, the popularity, sure, is probably a sell, but to me, I feel like popularity sometimes makes me a little iffy. Like, I still have Babel by R.F. Kuang that I haven't read. I don't think I'm getting to it this year, maybe in January. However, I don't think that'll become a new favorite simply because of the hype. Whereas this, yes, it's popular, but I feel like it's been popular for so long and people don't hype it up anymore that it has a chance. And the fact that it's a book about books, those really get me. Like, one of my favorite books is The Starless Sea, and that is a book about books, and it has really pretty writing and floral writing. And I read the first page of this and just kind of decide which book I wanted to read next, and I almost started this one first, but I do really like the writing style so far. I don't think it's very purple prose or anything. Like, I don't think it's too floral or too flowery, but floral. I don't think it's too flowery, but I think it's kind of pretty and has the potential to be pretty writing. So yeah. And then the last question is, have you already started making reading plans for 2023? And shockingly not. I always do, but this year my main goal is to finish every book on my physical TBR. I did just film a video featuring all my physical TBR books, so I will have that linked in the cards in the description box below and at the end of the video if you'd like to check that out. But other than that, I kind of just want to finish the series I'm on. So I'm currently on Foundry's side. I'll be starting the Sendlin Ascend series and the Cemetery of Forgotten Books. So no, that's not the name of the series. It's called Tower of Babel, I think. Tower of Babel, something like that. So I do want to finish any series that I start in 2023. And there are three more series that I'm on, but only one of them will be completed next year. So I want to finish that one. It's the Skyward series, but I am also on the Nevermore and the Murderbot Diaries series. And these are ones that won't be completed for years. So I know for a fact I will be finishing them. I'm sorry for the noise. Construction suddenly decided to commence. Oh, I do want to get my hands on the last book of the Inheritance games. That's also a series that I'm on, but god damn it, that the last book is out in a cover that either doesn't match or in the cover that matches the editions I have, but it's in hardback and I have the paperbacks, so I refuse to do that. So I'm waiting for that one. And once that does, I want to finish that as well. And a sort of vague reading plan for 2023 would be to, other than the ones I mentioned, would also be to pick up a lot more non-fiction, specifically in my industries. So I do want to pick up a lot more books on yoga, recipe books. I want to read a lot more culinary books, like not just recipe books, but that's the wrong wording, culinary books. The science of baking, the science of cooking. I want to get really into that. The more educational side, and art history books. So again, the more educational side of the creative industry. The yoga stuff, I also want to pick up the more of the history stuff, because yeah, we did learn the history, but not very deeply. And I do want to learn more about, like, deepen my knowledge on things like the chakras or the spiritual practice in relation to the physical practice and just things like that. I feel like that is a main goal of my reading this year, to just, you know, consume more of the nonfiction that also feeds into the industries that I'm interested in and that I kind of fall under in terms of pursuits, endeavors, career, whatever you want to call it. Let me know what your end of the year reading plans are, if there are any books that you want to finish before the year ends, if there are any new releases you're looking out for. Let me know in the comments down below, as I'd love to know. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, because that really helps me out a lot. And if you want more content, you can click either video on the screen, including the physical TBR video, and I'll see you in the next one.